It worked.
I'm thirsty.
And sweaty.
Yeah, I'm watching Cops this morning. Having their most popular episodes.
That is literally my favorite thing. Like, it never gets old.
It doesn't.
Ever.
I completely agree with you.
Gosh. Why are you so sweaty?
Watching Cops.
Oh, look at that service.
Perfect. What up, Timmy?
Hey, Emily in the house.
Quiroz. Emily Quiroz.
I'll never forget when I was telling her about, I was like, yeah, I went to Jaco, like in Costa Rica. And she's like, Jaco? What is that? Jaco? I'm like, yeah, Jaco. She's like, oh, Jaco! I was like, oh my gosh. It took her forever. She's going to for sure comment on that.
You didn't say it right.
Mm-mm. She's like, the J. I was like, yeah, but at least I didn't say Jocko. I went to Jocko.
I thought it was Jocko.
Okay.
I'm trying to find us live. Did you go here?
No.
Shakalaka Zulu.
Those are not words.
Shakalaka Zulu.
Why are you getting on there?
What?
You trying to take my job?
No, I just like doing this too.
Whatever.
He took your job.
Amy!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Yay! What a beautiful day too.
Right?
And it's Friday.
Man.
It's Friday.
I'm hungry.
You got a lot of problems.
They usually revolve around hungry, thirsty.
Tired.
Yeah. How'd you know?
Because I know you, homie.
How did you know?
Because I listen to you all the time go, hungry. Or maybe I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink some water. Nope, I'm hungry. I'm tired.
Emily said something nice. Let's see what she said. I pick you guys on my Fridays to listen to while I work out. It makes it more interesting. Thanks.
We appreciate that. What's up, Price?
What up, Serge?
What's up, guys?
All right, guys. This was a topic that we found when we were looking at, kind of preparing show notes, so to speak, for today. That there was quite a few things we could jam on this topic, and so we're really, really happy to kind of start a little bit. I think it could go on for hours, but I think this will be a really, really fun topic to talk about in terms of what it could possibly provide you in terms of value. And then kind of giving you like a teaser for a couple weeks is we're going to prepare a live cooking show. Yes, and we've never done that before. So this is going to
be a train wreck.
Yes, but you should tune in because it will be live. So all the massacres that happen, you'll be able to see in real time. So that's the best part of that. All right. So we're going to talk about are you a failure or are your goals unrealistic?
That's a hot fire. Like, this is the name of my book.
Hot fire?
No. Oh. Are you a failure or are your goals realistic? Edited by Hot Fire.
Okay. So when we looked up, like, we started, okay, well, what does failure mean, right? So we looked up the Google quick at the top of the search definition, and we picked out a couple that there were because there were several. Lack of success or the omission of expected or required action, and is also defined as the action or state of not functioning. Right, so like...
I kind of got a kick out of that, though.
What?
The action or state of not functioning. I thought it was like, so every time I've seen a really drunk person, they've actually been a failure. Like, by definition.
They're not functioning.
That's great.
But we kind of want to jam on this and talk about some of our own personal experiences and things in regards to this and kind of help you maybe reset your mind, reset what you think a goal is supposed to be, and reset what you think failure is. Because this definition does cover it, kind of like, hey, look, if it's like your TV stops working it has reached failure, right? Or it is failure, so to speak, right? It doesn't work anymore. But how does that apply to our lives? If we're going for a goal and we don't happen to make the mark, does that mean we're a failure? And that's what we're going to kind of go in and lead into and talk about with you guys this morning. So would you like to?
Sure. So I think that I could go down, and we can all go down several rabbit holes in our head. And this goes back, this topic, it can get really, really deep, which I love to do. It can get really deep because it can go back to things that happened in your childhood, the way that you were raised, the way that your parents responded or reacted to something that they considered a failure. So this can have some really, really deep roots in it. It could be an abusive relationship that you were in. It could be something bad that happened to you. It could be something that you just personally struggled with. The outlets for feeling that sense of failure are they're exponential. They can come from a lot of different things. But whenever we look at putting a goal with a failure or an unreached place, I like to think about like, well, where did that goal come from? Why do I want that goal? Why is that important to me? I mean, I was literally thinking this got me stemming like, why is that my goal? Why is something like this my goal? Why? Because I've never had it. That's why I want it. For me personally. So making realistic expectations for yourself, you may think that you're making realistic expectations for yourself. We have people walk in here every day. Well, not right now, but virtually walk in here. We have people come in all the time that they're like, I want to pull up, and I'll train for a month, and then I'm going to have that pull up. And we're looking at them with more professional eyes, saying, well, I just saw you work out, I just saw you move, I see where you're at here, and here. I think that's going to be more like an 8 to 10 week goal for you. So again, that kind of comes back to, you may think you're being realistic with your goal, but your timeline might be crap. So having somebody else kind of reach in and be able to offer an area of expertise is really important, because it may not be that you're failing. It may be that you're in the wrong starting place from the beginning. You had the wrong end game in your head, like how long things were going to take, which we're all like, I want a 6-pack. I should have that by tomorrow. Cool. I ate clean for a day. Where's my 6-pack? I don't understand. I worked out like 2 hours. Where's my 6-pack? Where is that? So I'm just as impatient as everyone else. It's hard. It's hard to like keep that in mind, but being realistic, when Kadimah's like, well, you're probably about 90 days away from that. I'm like, dang it, man. Like that just feels, it's 90 days. It's really not that long, but it feels long. So I think figuring out why you want your goal. Why do you want it? Having a why and a reason behind why you want something always makes getting there much easier, right? So figure out what the end game is. Figure out what the goal is. Don't just be going in the dark,
Yeah, so I want to tap into this and tap into our own goals. Tap into some own things and Emily said a really, really good point here. She said, what if we're not failures, but our goals are just very long-term goals? And you are like, I don't know if you looked into our sheet here. And
did you look at our notes?
Did you look at the cheat sheet there? Because that's definitely one of the things that we wanted to talk about, is that some of the goals that we set for ourselves is like, I think my goal now is, especially as I've kind of looked at myself and self-assessed, every area of my life, it's just to be as best as I can be in every single area of my life. So it means, always pursuing just a little bit better of a workout, always trying to do my best with my reading, trying to treat people the best way that I know how to. All these little areas, every single crucial in any one of my relationships, I consciously look at how I'm treating them, what I'm doing, and trying to be better at those things. Now, I know that's general. That's like my general overall goal, but I break that into micro goals a little bit. So maybe one of those goals is, hey, I need to have a 6-pack year round, like where I don't wear a shirt because I don't want to.
It's 20 degrees, Kadimah.
It's 20 degrees. I have a 6-pack. I worked hard for this. I don't care if it's -4. Okay, I'm not wearing a shirt, right? Maybe that's the goal. Okay. Well, we have to really, really look at what it takes for that goal to be there, right? They're often more involved than we think they are, and they often take more time than we think they're going to take. Very similar to a construction project on a house.
Oh yeah.
Or any of those things. I know Dr. Taylor's going through. He was supposed to open this week. No, actually, he was supposed to open last month or something. They postponed that, and now they're opening. It was supposed to be this Friday today. Now it's not going to be until the following Friday. Yeah. And it's just part of the process. There are things and expectations and all the kind of stuff that come up that you don't necessarily that you don't plan for, that you think you've already set that expectation in your mind that this is when I'm supposed to have it. Right? I think Amy put that pull-up was a 3-year goal. 3-year goal.
Yeah. So, but the thing is if you have only set yourself a 3-year goal and you have no little micro goals before that 3-year goal, man, that 3 years starts feeling really long. I mean, you feel like I haven't accomplished anything. It's been a year and a half. I'm still not doing pull-ups. This sucks. It's hard. But if you put some goals, maybe they're not even pull-up related, but just something that is like, okay, that's reachable. That I can hit that, and then once I hit that milestone, then I'm going to do this. I think that it makes it much more easy to navigate, and not only having those. Here's I know a lot of you on here, like, very well. So I can speak very personally about this one, but how about when you reach one of those minuscule goals, or you get a new skill, or you PR by 2 pounds or 1 pound or whatever, and you're like, whatever. You don't even acknowledge that you just did something you've never done. Why is it so easy for us to sit here and bash ourselves, make ourselves feel like crap, but then when we do something positive and we reach a little milestone, yeah, it was a little one, but it was one. Why are we not praising ourselves equally for that same thing? It's so easy to have that negative mental talk when we can just have, we deserve to have this same positive talk and congratulate ourselves. It drives me crazy. Well, it happens all the time in the gym.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit even more. So you have maybe it's a financial goal, or it's a car, or it's something else that you want to get, but like how does somebody who is setting this goal keep themselves from the negative talk?
Honestly, I feel like it's a practice. It's a practice of awareness. It's a practice, and it's also about, that old saying of like, surround yourself with who you want to be like. I hear my kids' teacher say it to them all the time, like, you are your friends. Like, who you hang out with is who you become. And do you want to be like them? And that's very much so true. Like, who you surround yourself with it has an effect on you, whether you are like, no, I am all that is man or woman, and it doesn't have an effect on me. No, it does. It does. So if you're unsure, like the easiest way, even for us, is whether it be a business coach or a fitness coach or a nutrition coach, we still have coaches ourselves. So why, I don't understand, like, if I'm still asking for help for myself, for programming and nutrition, and this is what I do, then why would there be any difference between us? You know, no matter what you want to succeed in, having a coach that's already been there and done it and succeeded at it, they're going to be able to guide you the best.
I like that. But okay, so let me ask you this.
Oh, you want like a personal story?
Yeah, I want a little bit more in the
gosh.
nitty gritty.
Okay.
I want to get all up in there. Okay. I want to get in there.
It's got real coach up in here. So, you got to walk like, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about here. You got to get all up in there. So
I think my armpits started sweating from that.
I am still sweating.
You're always sweating.
It's part of this job. That's
You're
part of the job.
You're always watching Cops.
I am. I have it on repeat in my earbuds.
It's just bad boys, bad boy.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Oh, Lord.
Okay. But let's talk about a personal one. Let's talk about a personal goal that you can bring in there and
well, it's kind of funny. My goal right now is very much physical, and this is the first time ever that you and I have actually had the same goal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, we did 75 hard at the same time, which was similar to having a somewhat of a goal, I guess, but kind of. Not really.
I think it's more mental toughness than anything. It's to see if you could endure, really.
Yeah. Well, my life should have told me that. I shouldn't have had to do the 75 hard. So the reason that I actually started exercising was because I wanted a six-pack. And that was 10 years ago. And have I ever gotten that? No, I haven't. And it's kind of crazy to go down my own personal rabbit hole of this. Like, the reason I had my son, I was not feeling great about my body. I wanted to look better, wanted to feel better, wanted more muscle. I wanted a six-pack. I've never had it, not even whenever I was a gymnast. I mean, I was like lean, but I never had a six-pack all the way down. And like these ones, you see those guys right there. But so that's the reason that I started, CrossFit. I just got really down on myself, thought this is going to do it. Worked out for like a year or 2 years, completely denied that I had to change my diet for a long time. Like, stubborn. I was like, Whataburger's fine. I'm fine. I'm working out like 2 hours a day. It's great. So another reason that you can't outwork a bad diet. I wasn't reaching my goals. I tried different nutritional stuff. I tried paleo first, was the very first thing I tried. And I'm pretty sure, like, knowing now what I know about nutrition, I was eating mass amounts of fat. Like bacon, just bacon. Like, not lean at all. Like, terrible. And I'm like,
right now.
I probably gained weight. Like, it was bad. I just took out carbs and just ate meat. And horrible choices. And that didn't work. So I'm like, whatever. And then, I kind of learned a little bit about portioning. I just really didn't want to fully dive in to the fact that I was going to have to completely change my lifestyle. That's basically what it was. It was, years, Kadimah, years. Learned how to count my macros. Did it like kind of consistently, kind of not. Like through the week, maybe Monday through Friday, I would be like pretty good. And then Saturday and Sunday, I was like, whatever, it's the weekend, Dialing it in all the time has been a very big challenge. Very big. I was successful with Whole30 when we had done several years ago when we did our Whole30 challenge. I saw a very good difference then. But I just don't stick. can't, it's like I can stick with it. It's like a constant, like, something happens, our birthday happens, and then I start going a little bit off the wagon, and then I'm like fully just, I'm, like in the mud all of a sudden. Food is a really, really big struggle for me. It's hard. I love sugar. I'll admit it. I love sugar. So it's hard. The food stuff is hard. And it has felt like it's hard to be 10 years down the road and be like, I've never reached that goal. That was literally the reason I started working out. Of course, I found many reasons to fall in love with what I do, but to still have not achieved the very reason that I started is hard still. And it does bring in a little bit of that voice that creeps in that's like, you have failed. You're not going to do this. You can't do this. You're genetically incapable. You're not strong enough to say no. You always revert back to
hot fire.
Yeah, you always revert back to your that just whatever, halfway doing it, and then you're off the wagon, or drinking, or just not making good choices, using things for excuses. I don't feel good. I'm having a hard day. I mean, everything.
Man.
But it's been it's freaking 10 years of this crap. I'm sick of it. And so it is, though. It's hard to stay positive whenever you want to go down those negatives. But I'm doing it. I'm still doing it. I'm still trying. He crazy.
He is crazy.
Okay.
I like him though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So okay, you were spitting hot fire. You need to start your album. Okay. Your audiobook needs to come down the pipe. All right. Now on that, what you were saying, a six-pack in general, okay, is one of those goals that is a hard goal. It is a hard goal.
But it just seemed okay.
And I don't mean, and this is kind of where I'm leading it. It's like, it's a hard goal because it's not like you do crunches in one area or you do a couple things and all of a sudden the six-pack pops out. It's like your body fat percentage has to be low. Mm-hmm. And depending on the genes you inherited from your parents,
I had to jump through the screen and kill them now.
determines how lean you're going to have to be to achieve that.
Yeah, like ladies guys and ladies carry fat differently based off of genetics. Like the last place, some in the arms, hips, thighs. You can tell where it's like, well, that's where I first put on weight. Mine is my stomach, so it makes it very difficult for me as well. And that's another excuse that pops in. You're like, well, I'm just genetically not capable of having that.
Yep.
That's not for me.
So it may take longer than you expect, just like several other goals. I was like, for sure. It's like, I'm eating clean. I'm sleeping well. I've been eating so consistent. I mean, consistent. Like, the only thing I have is the one cheat meal a week, and then I'm back to regular. I'm like, man, I'm crushing it, and I'm like, when is this gonna happen? And then I'll get like a little compliment, and it'll be like, dude, the outline is there. You're almost there. A couple more percentages, and I'm like, good Lord, when is this gonna happen? As you get closer to it, sometimes that closeness could be motivation. Like sometimes in a workout, we're counting down a timer, and as we're counting down that timer, people can hold it a little bit longer because they know the end is near, right? On this, you don't really know when that end is near.
Yeah.
On that goal, you can feel the progression if you're doing a pull-up. You can feel the progression. You can feel, but you've looked in the mirror for the 14th time that day at your abs, and they don't look any
and they're
different.
Still not there. I'm like a little kid. Like, are they there yet? Now?
And they're not there. So you look again, and you're like, I am frustrated. I'm about ready to eat anything and everything. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm thirsty. I don't feel like making anything. This is so easy. I could just make this real quick. It just starts to snowball yourself. So I would say that any goal like this of any magnitude, depending on where you're starting, if you're already lean, it may not take you as long to get there, but it's still going to require an amount of adjustment, an amount of changes for you to achieve whatever that goal is. And you need to have somebody that has done what you want to do to help you. Do not ask the guy who sits at the keyboard all day to tell you how to get a six-pack if he ain't working out. Don't ask that guy. Ask somebody who is where you want to be in order to help you get what you want to get. Everybody needs help every step along the way. I mean, it doesn't matter what the area is. If somebody asked me that they wanted to get stronger on a certain lift, I could tell them exactly how to do that because I've done that, right? If somebody wants to run a marathon, I know the programming of a marathon. I know that stuff, but I have not ran a marathon. I did run a 5K, though, the other day. Just want to throw that in there. Very proud of that 5K.
Yeah, that's the same. I'm sure all the marathon runners are like,
So I just want to throw that in there that I did run a 5K.
Congratulations.
I've run 6 miles this week. I cannot tell you the last time I've ran 6 miles in a week.
Yeah.
Man.
It's good.
Okay. All right.
So, go ahead.
No, I was done. I just wanted to brag.
Yeah. Good job. So, let's say that, let's kind of bring this back to the mindset of this, like, the mental side of setting goals is really positive. You know, the mental aspect of saying, all right, this is what I want to complete. Maybe having somebody that is a professional look over that and say, yeah, that sounds realistic. Let's set these mini goals on the way there so that you don't get completely off track. And then let's also mention, like, man, life happens. Rona happens. Like, there is so many things that could come into the way and get you off of that path. Here I am, 10 years later, still the same goal. A little bit more refocused. Like, for a while, I was like, whatever. I don't even care. My goals did change. I kind of like quit on myself on that goal and was like, oh, well, I'll just be a competitive athlete. That'd be fine. But trying to like stay focused, but mentally, like going into something having some goals and going into something not having some goals mentally.
Okay.
Like, what's the difference to you?
Okay. I think one, you're just going along for the ride. It would be like going to a target range or shooting range and shooting the gun kind of at the target, but not actually aiming. Does that make sense? So you're going through the motions, you're doing activity, you're doing anything, but you're not really focusing in on a specific thing. It's kind of what I think about if I answered your question correctly. Can you tell me the question one more time?
So what is the like whenever somebody comes into our gym and they sit down with us and they're like, well, maybe their goal, maybe when they come in there, we're like, what do you want to do? And they're like, I want to get in shape. Like, okay, what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? And then why is that important to their mindset? Like, defining your goal and then understanding how that's crucial to how you're thinking. Pew, pew, pew.
Yes, I can.
Competitive eating. Yeah, I think we got that one under control. I've had that under control for about 10 years.
Yep, if you want to start, as soon as this Rona thing is over, I'll start teaching you my ways. You want a competitive eat.
You're going to lose your six-pack.
For sure. One day a week, though, on Saturday night. That's the only time I can do it. The rest of the week, I'm working out.
Okay, we got squirreled. That was
Yes.
last week's episode.
For sure.
Yeah.
What was the...
What is the difference in your mindset of like setting goals versus not setting goals?
I feel like I have, this is hard. I feel like I have tunnel vision. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I have a focused vision of this, and I set up everything around me to be as successful in that as possible. So that's when I'm in a goal season. I think if I don't have a goal, and I'm just talking about specifically around nutrition because that's the biggest goal that I have right now, right? So every week, I'd say that's the biggest. It's just one of the goals, but it's one that I'm paying special attention to, right? And trying to make this as sustainable as possible, right? Not just for a season of time. Like, man, I'm gonna eat good because I know we're going on vacation and we're gonna take at least a couple pictures and then I'm gonna let it all out, right? And there are seasons for that, but what I'm saying is not just for that time. Like, this is a regular thing. This is who I am. This is why this is important to me. I feel the best about myself when I do these things. That's the kind of goal that I'm talking about setting. And I have tunnel vision around that. So I put things in my life to help me be successful in that. And I also give myself some grace because we're going to fail. And failing meaning that I didn't hit the mark just yet, right? Or
you had to take a step back.
Exactly, and reassess and change some things, maybe because I was too hard on myself or too strict on myself or something like that. And so I think of it like I set up everything in my life around these things. And anything else that is a distraction doesn't have a place. You know, that I know is not good for me.
You're pretty strict though with yourself in comparison to others. I don't want to say like you are very much tunnel vision. You go a little squirrel sometimes.
You've seen it in the show.
Yes, we both do. But I think, I mean, there's a lot of different types of personalities out there, and I would love for you guys to comment and say kind of, is it you to follow a goal once you have it set? Is it easy for you to keep that in the forefront of your mind? Like, or is it like you set this goal and then a month or two down the road, you've gotten squirreled so many times that you're now homeschooling your kid and you are having to online grocery shop and there's no toilet paper? Like, are those things setbacks for you? Like, you know, like the life stuff that, and I'm using these as an example because it's kind of funny at the same time, but really, even during regular seasons of life, there is crap that happens that throws you off track. Once you get thrown off track, are you off track or can you get back on? Like, where are you guys sitting with this? I would love to know with your personal, Joe, get in shape is goal number 1.
Well, what is shape, Joe?
Yeah. I want to know what getting in shape means to you. Getting in shape, that's like the most generic term. Like, we have people say that. So I want to know, like, what does that mean? Some people mean, hey, I want to wear shorts again. Some people means I want to go down a pant size. Some people want to see the scale move. Some people want more muscle. Some people want a six-pack. Some people, want to be able to pick up their kids. Some people want to be able to pick up their grandkids. Getting in shape means a million different things. But really pinpointing where that goal starts.
I think, like some of the things that we see, like, because one of the things I see is most people's goals around losing weight or nutrition. And so if I'm perusing Facebook, and I'm seeing a friend of mine, or somebody in my story, and I see that they're losing weight and they're doing some type of dietary plan, okay, keto, whatever, intermittent fasting, etc., right? They've looked up a couple articles and said, okay, I understand, and then they start, right? And they do a really good job for the first week and a half, 2 weeks, and they lose some weight, right? And then all of a sudden, they stagnate, right? Or they, they have a quick slip up, right? So like stagnating meaning they can't lose any more weight. They can't figure out why. They're still doing it. They still have hope though. So they're continuing to do it, right? Or they missed the mark somehow. They cheated somewhere in there, right? And all of a sudden, that one cheat leads to something else, or that stagnation leads to having doubts about why they're doing it. They're constantly questioning why they're doing the things that they're doing because they're not seeing progress. The next thing you know, they're completely off it, and I think that's how you reach that failure thing.
Yeah.
And have to start all over again.
Yeah.
Etc.
And you say, keto didn't work for me. Intermittent fasting didn't work for me. Working out doesn't work for me. Getting in shape doesn't work for me. Strength and conditioning doesn't work for me. Nothing works for me.
Fire. Hot fire.
It is literally the process of life. This doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me. Well, did you do it for more than, a month, 2 months, 3 months? Like, the changes that we have to wrap our minds around making are lifestyle changes and not just temporary fixes, Band-Aids.
They're significant. We're talking 90 days plus. To see some to see some exponential changes. You may see some changes, but for everybody else to notice them, it usually takes some exponential things. For exponential time, so to speak, way more than you think. I'll just piggytail in. I need to lose 50 pounds. Also, I was working out daily until this virus hit. Hard time getting back into it because I always feel like I've lost so much physically just a month and a half. I can understand that for sure. Joe, I would tell you that we have there are virtual classes available. We actually coach one every Saturday. It's free to the community. It's a great way to kind of have
we coach virtual classes every day.
Yeah.
So
and that's the way you can get some instruction, and you can put it on somebody else to keep you. All you have to do is just click the button and show up.
Yeah.
And you don't need any equipment or anything like that to get started. It's a great way to do something.
Work out with us.
That way you don't show up, because now you're at a point, I believe, based upon what you've written, that it almost feels overwhelming to start all over.
Yeah, that's another thing. We could hit on that. Whenever you have a blip in your program or your training or an injury, oh my gosh. I don't know how many people have had injuries and they're like, well, I can't work out at all. And they don't do anything. They stop completely. I'm like, bro, you still got legs. You can still walk and run and squat and jump. So use them legs. You can train around injuries. That's another reason that having a coach comes in handy, because when you're like, no, I broke my toe, I can't do this. Well, let me program some. We're going to grow out.
The other thing that I would say is, like, let's say that you do have this goal, a six-pack or whatever the goal is, okay? But I want to use six-pack because it's a good one, because most people want that. And I say most people, let me rephrase this. It's a goal that a lot of people come in and ask for, or we always hear people talk about wanting. And sometimes the cost of that big and crazy goal, you don't really realize it's not what you want. And you have to come to grips with that. And so there's nothing wrong with realizing, like, I'll give a personal example for me. So I went to a small school in Kansas for my first year of college. I was named a captain after my freshman year of college. I was a player of the year, player of the week, or something like that, like a national player of the week. I had some good things going for me. I decided, because it was a smaller school and the amount of student loans that I was accruing was going to be very difficult for me to go to school there next year, so I transferred. And when I transferred to University of North Texas. And when I got there, after doing some training and actually at a summer camp, I sprained my PCL, and so I was on crutches for a couple weeks. And so I got kind of booted off the team. And then once that next season was around, they didn't want to take a chance on me, so I transferred to Texas A&M at the time. And when I got there, I needed to have more eligibility time. And so after trying out, they asked me what my eligibility standards were. I needed to have 3 years. I only had 2 left. They said they did not want to waste a spot for me because I only had 2 years left. So I was in this position where all I wanted to do was play football. school was important, don't get me wrong, but football motivated me for school. And as weird as that sounds, just because your schedule is so regimented. I was the best athlete or student athlete when I was an athlete in college. Fast forward a little bit. After I graduate college, I decided that I want to pursue this and try to play professionally and go through what it took. So I got a coach. We did some running and some technique stuff, and I was going to make a run at this. About 8 or 9 weeks into training, I tore my hamstring for the first time. For the first time. And then rehabbed that a little bit. When I got to the tryout, I tore it again. And then rehabbed for another 6 to 8 months to get back to that position. So not even playing a down of football, just getting ready. I've already had 2 hamstring tears, and I was getting ready for my tryout. So I get done with the tryout. Now I don't have any recent film. So in that process, it's way more daunting than you think. You need to have the tangible numbers on paper, right? And then after having the tangible numbers on paper, you have to have recent film and an agent and all these things to back you up. Well, I got to this position, and for me, what I realized was it was an identity that I put on myself, that I needed to play in the NFL or that I needed to play professional football, and it wasn't because I just loved the game. And I did love the game, but I made it my identity. And because I made it my identity, I realized that I could do more in this life than playing a few years of professional football if I'm ever so lucky to do that for the NFL. And I made a conscious decision to stop because the goal was no longer the right goal for me. And was the hardest thing, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I went into a depression for 6 months because I didn't understand. I hated football. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't stand watching people try out while they were doing stuff. And it took me realizing that I was more than, which took time, that it wasn't that important for me. Now I look back and I go, man, I am so thankful that I didn't go through, that I didn't continue to pursue that, because my body would be so much more beat up now. But it took being realistic and being truthful with myself to realize that goal was not my goal. Look, if you love having your wine every night and you love going out and having a good weekend and just being able to fit in your clothes and still having fitness and all those things, then a six-pack probably isn't for you, because it takes way more work than that to keep it. And so that goes back to kind of setting, I wouldn't say realistic goals, because that's not really what it is. It's a goal that you're willing to pay the price for.
Boom.
That's what it comes down to, is if you're willing to pay the price for the goal, and then anybody can help you, because you're willing to do whatever it takes to do that. Mm-hmm. I am willing to do whatever it takes to have a six-pack all year round.
That's fire. It really is. And that is so true, because there's so many people that can relate to that. And even that lifestyle of like, well, I don't want to give up my wine, or I don't want to give up my liquor, or my cake, or, the pizza at the birthday party this week, or whatever it is. Like, well, if your goal is A, then you can't do B, C, D, or E anymore. Or you have to do them at a once a week kind of thing. Like, and that for you, like that balance of having one cheat meal a week works pretty good for you. Like, you can get through your week 100% clean all that through 6 days of the week, and have that one meal that you look forward to.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing about it is I don't punish myself. Like, my mindset has changed around that, because I feel better, and I notice that the cleaner that I eat, the more sensitive I am to other things that I wasn't sensitive to before.
Like
but
what?
Beer. So I think I had a beer at Henry's house when they did barbecue, and I had to use the bathroom pretty fast after that. I haven't confirmed this, but I'm going to confirm this.
I haven't confirmed this.
Because I
haven't
had a beer
really
since.
Drink a lot.
Yeah, I haven't had a beer since.
Yeah.
But it went out fast.
You don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it went out fast. So
But drinking is not. But that. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
So I don't know. There's a couple things. I mean, I ate a lot of stuff that day. We ate like this kale salad and this corn thing. What was it, caviar or whatever they called it? And I ate like all the meats. And
so there could have been a combination of things.
I know, but it was just so
squirrel.
Whatever it was, I haven't identified it yet. But I feel better. I feel better constantly. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm enjoying food more, even though I'm being very strict, because I'm finding new ways to enjoy it. Like I'm enjoying, it's funny how vegetables taste better and all these things taste better because you're not eating so much junk.
Yeah.
You find the sweetness that is naturally occurring in different things. And the other thing that I noticed is like I've expanded what I consider like good and nutritious and filling and etc. Like that's why I'm excited to do the cooking show, because we're going to bring out some of these recipes for you guys and show you how you can incorporate things that you wouldn't think you could necessarily incorporate in a weekly plan. So I'm really, really excited about that. Again, we don't know how good it's going to be of the show.
Yeah,
okay?
This is
we're going to try.
This could be a total cluster.
But we're
That's
excited.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah. We're planning that 2 weeks. We need at least a couple days to practice.
100%. 100%.
We're going to be in the same kitchen.
Yes.
Like, setting up cameras.
I know. Well, thankfully, I did a little cooking show for our private member page. And so I have a little bit of an idea of kind of what it takes. And it's funny, like, how much prep work you have to actually have ready. Like, you have to basically have everything ready to just throw it in the pan.
We probably need some like sous chef people too to like to hand us stuff if we didn't get it right, like when
like a different yeah.
Oh, thanks. Water was right there.
You're hired. So I think that's all really good. I think remembering to have grace for yourself. What did he say?
About his cooking. All right, bro. I know you got it going on.
Yeah, your meal prep looks good over there, bud. I'm always wondering why we don't get some samples. He did make us gumbo one day. You remember that?
Fire.
It was fire.
Man. He called it jambalaya or jambalaya.
Oh, yeah, it was different. It was like a little bit different because there was.
It was like
something different.
It was good.
Rice instead of.
It wasn't rice. There wasn't rice in there.
He'll tell us. He will.
It was
tasty.
He
knows.
It was very tasty.
Yeah. So let's talk about who you share your goals with. We didn't actually cover that point.
Man. Okay, last one. Now we're going over here, way over, but.
Yeah, I got to go get adjusted.
Me too. Hope my favorite chiropractor's office is open.
Okay.
But okay, this is a good one because sometimes. Okay, so let's say the goal is a stretch goal. It is, and you feel very conscious about it,
not like
self-conscious.
Not a stretching goal, but like a
far
to
goal
reach.
Thank you. And you're very sensitive about it because you are working towards it, but you don't really want a lot of people to know. You basically told only the people that it's necessary to tell, and I can encourage you to continue to do that, because a lot of times when you do any changes or make significant changes in your life, there are going to be people that spew their beliefs on you because they don't think it's possible for them to do.
Yeah, because they've maybe failed at it, or they haven't achieved it themselves. It's that same thing, kind of goes back to who you hang out with, is, you know, who you surround yourself by. Like, to some people that may be really far-fetched, but to other people that have already accomplished that thing, they may be like, yeah, let's do this, let's figure out a plan. When someone else that maybe is in that same failure mental state where they're like, well, I've tried this, none of those things work, I can't do this, it's genetically not possible, I'm not gifted enough to do that, I can't do it, I suck. Like, you have two things that you have to think about. And if you're feeling reluctant or like nervous about sharing that goal, I I would find one person, even if it's someone you don't know very well, but they are ahead of you in that area. They'll respect they will respect the fact that you came to them to ask for advice. It's a compliment to that person. Yes, you have to be a little vulnerable, but they're going to be the ones that's going to be able to help lead you to that goal and give you direction. So, get a coach.
Ask somebody for advice in the area that you want to succeed in. Doesn't matter what the area is. Your mindset of the thoughts that you have in your mind you think are correct, and you've reasoned and you rationed them for so long, they may not be, and you need somebody else to kind of help you to do this. Boom. Shakalaka.
Sacagawea.
Kunta day. And that is your Friday, folks.
What was it? We don't want to serve you a plate of crap.
Yeah, what was that t-shirt?
But it's no guarantee.
Yeah. Hey, we don't want to serve you a plate of crap, but there ain't no guarantee. That's how we're going to end those.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this beautiful. More restaurants are opening. More businesses are opening. Let's get excited. Keep washing your hands. Don't start going back to your old nasty habits, you people out there.
I'm glad we learned shapes and colors. We know how to wash our hands.
Right. Hey, yo.
Hey, y'all have a great day. Yes,
Stalk
share
us.
Share our content.
Yes, stalk our pages.
We really appreciate
Stalk 'em
you.
all.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
Yes, stalk us.